Hello! Today we're going to discuss about Lesson 4 on distance. So what is our lesson objective? Apply the distance formula to find the length of line segment on a number line and a coordinate plane. So the first thing we have to do is, let's talk about the distance on a number line. So if you are given a line segment like this, which is on a number line, so if point P has a coordinate labeled as x1 and our Q has a coordinate labeled as x2, then the length of PQ is equal to the absolute value of x2 minus x1, or you can say the absolute value of x1 minus x2. So this will be our formula to find the distance on a number line. Let's go to the next one. So why is this so? If you are given a line segment, it will be the same distance, like it will be the same distance on PQ or line segment QP. So having a line segment, it doesn't matter the order in which you name the endpoints. It is not important when you are calculating the distance. The next one, let's have an example here. Now, using this number line on the right, let's find what is the measure of CF. So the length of CF, to find the measure, we'll need the distance formula on a number line. So finding out first what is the coordinate of point C, and then let's label it as our first point, or x1, x sub 1, and then the coordinate of F and label it as x2. So using our distance formula, then we have CF is equal to the absolute value of x2 minus x1. Since our x1 is negative 1 here, and our F is 5, let's substitute or plug in the absolute value of 5 minus negative 1. Doing our algebra, then we have 5 minus negative 1 will mean 5 plus 1 will give you the absolute value of 6. And the absolute value of 6 is just 6. So that is to simplify what we have. Next. Now what if we say we switch, instead of CF, we make use of FC? Will that give us the same answer? Let's find out. So if we start from FC instead of CF, so our first point being negative 1 on C, and then our second point, we still use F as our second point. We have the same value for x1, which is negative 1, and x2 is equal to 5. But then we switch the letters around. So from F to C, will it be the same distance from C to F? So if we use the formula, now we will have x1 first minus x2. So the absolute value of negative 1 minus 5 will give us the absolute value of negative 6. And the absolute value of negative 6 is still 6. So this one justify that if you are looking for the distance on a number line, you can switch the letters around, or switch, if you're referring to the distance, you can switch the points and you will still get the same answer. Let's go to the next part. Our next part is, the second part is finding the distance if it is given on a coordinate plane. So the endpoints of a segment on a coordinate plane can be used to find the length of that segment by using the distance formula. Now in this case, since we have points on a coordinate plane, then that means we will have the x and the y coordinates. So having these 2 points, our formula now will be the square root of the difference of x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus the difference of x sub 2 and y sub 1 squared. So let's try to get an example here. Now, find the distance between point J with 4, 3 as the coordinate and K having a coordinate with the coordinate that is -3 and -7. So if we label this first, that's the first thing you have to do, especially when you are working on a coordinate plane. You have to label which one is your first point and your second point, and label the points as well. So if J is 4, 3, and then if you want this to be your first point, then you have to have this as 4 will be your x1 and y, and 3 will be your y1. So if J is the first point, K will be our second point. And the coordinates of K is -3 and -7. And so this will be your x2 and y2. Now, if we just label them, I just want you to be very careful to label each coordinate properly. So my x1 is 4, your y1 is 3. -3 will be your x2 and -7 will be your y2. So it is very important that you label them. And I suggest that you just write them as, what is your x1? x1 will be 4, x2 will be -3, and then your y1 from the first point is 3, and your y2 will be -7. Now applying the formula, so we have the jk, or the length of jk will be equal to, we use the distance formula, we have the square root of the difference of x2 or x sub 2 minus x sub 1 squared plus the difference of y2 minus y1 squared. Plugging in our value for x2, our x2 is -3, and then our y2 is -7, and then you substitute the value of x1, which is -4 here, and your y1, which is just simply 3, because your formula says it's y2 minus y1. So if the second point, or x1, is positive, then you will have -7 minus 3. So while doing your algebra, this will mean -3 minus 4 will be -7, and you square it, and then -7 minus 3 is -10, and then you square it. The square of -7 is 49. The square of -2 is, the square of -10 is 100. Combining and simplifying 49 and 100, that will give us the square root of 149. So the distance between J and K is the square root of 149. And if you change it and you do your calculator, you use your calculator, then it will be approximately 12.2 units. Okay, now this time, what if we are given a coordinate plane and you are not given just simply the points? You're just given the point on a coordinate plane. Make sure to identify and locate the point properly. So K here is at -3 and -7, and your J is at 4 and 3. So it is very important that you know how to locate the point on a coordinate plane. And then once you locate the points properly, you can find the distance between J and K with these coordinates. And so you will still use the same formula, of course. Label will just be the same. It's just like you are given the points in a coordinate plane. The first one, you are given the point. You are just simply given the point, just as it is. All Alright? Now, to summarize this, whenever you are doing the distance or finding out the length on a number line, you use the distance formula only with the x coordinates, or just the first point and the second point. And then you can switch the labels of the points. And then if you do if you want to find your distance on a coordinate plane, then you can use the distance formula using the square root of the difference of x2 minus x1 squared plus the difference of y2 and y1 squared. So these are the things that you have to remember. I hope this is clear, and if you have some questions, do not hesitate to ask. Alright, I'll see you. Bye-bye.